Is this specific
for the women, specifically for the women? So that was the question I was posing to the women. Like, if the lens that you walk around with is that you need to find a man who can take care of you financially, then that means that you're walking around ignoring good men. Good men aren't good enough for you. Good men are average. Good men don't have a whole lot of money. Good men don't aren't trying to buy you as a woman. They're trying to love you as a woman. So if you're being raised underneath this to have this lens that a good man is only like a certain like dollar amount, it means that the lens that you're walking around with is just, yeah, I can ignore the average man because the average man isn't quote unquote good enough. So that's what the context of that was. I mean, you heard it, but just reiterating that. And I was asking it to the women, and I wanted to see what their response was. What Bo was saying, this is how we were brought up. We were brought up, not one for one. He better have a car. Does that exclude the dude from Burger King?
It
Right?
does when you're young, though, right? When you're young and you're listening and you're impressionable and you're listening to all of these different people trying to figure out life, right? But like Ali said, life is your greatest teacher. And so by the time I got to the end of my 20s, now I understand. Like now I have seen and experienced enough that I know that the average man is the best man. I know to not go after that man with that big expensive car because you know what I'm saying? Like financial abuse is definitely a thing. Like men always want to bring up these dumbass points about options being different women. No, men have the option of treating you right or not treating you right. And more often than not, men with money don't treat you right. Trust me, I know. So like you do learn. Hopefully you learn sooner rather than later. But yeah, like luckily I learned before I got out of my 20s, so I was a lot less traumatized outside of my 20s.
Can you, before we hold on, y'all? Bo, how does a man with money typically mistreat a woman? I would think a man that has less money probably use more. We'd say he have to use more of what he is to give a woman, right? He probably use more of his heart. He have to do certain things for women, right? Because for the lack of not having money. How does a man who has money? Because typically, the more money a man has, it seems like the more he does for you, the more he buys for you, the more he caters to you, the more he dates you, the more he takes you on trips. How do most men that you believe? I think a minority of men would do that, but how does the majority of men with money mistreat women with money?
So, material items are great, but that's not how you treat a woman right. Like that's cool. Like I had all of the things. I got all of the nice dinners and I had clothes and all of that stuff, right? It was cute. It was nice. But he talked crazy and ignored the mess out of me. You're disposable. He'll call you when he's ready for you. Basically, he doesn't treat you right. He might buy you things and take you places, but he doesn't treat you right. You know how many bitches I got called by dudes? Like, let me tell you something. No, they're terrible people. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them.
That's what I was actually going to say. I think that we as men, at least in this space, romanticize this idea that money is the root of solving the issue. And that's far from the truth. I don't know a woman who's not dealt with a man with money. I've never met them. And I also don't know the fact that, again, this kind of speaks to some of the way we grew up. Maybe in your high school, people didn't have cars, but some people, that's not their reality. Like there's a lot of people who having a car was normal, but maybe depending on where you came from, then yeah, that makes sense. Oh, she's going after men with resources, so therefore I have to compete. Most of the women, I believe, from what Bo is saying, is actually very true. If they're able to get around those privileges of sorts, the exterior, they still want the character.
But hold on, that's your experience. There's men on the panel that got money. I got money. Yeah. Your experience with men with money is that they're deceptive or they're manipulative or they're controlling or they're bad people. Most men with money are extremely generous. They'll pay for everything. They'll take care of people. And the bad part, and I'm gonna tell you this, The bad part about it is this: if
Ali,
he
you
doesn't
keep
have
talking
money,
about money though. We're
no,
not
no,
talking about money.
no. I'm not just talking about no, but I'm talking about money because we're talking about men with money. But the man with money, a lot of men who built himself, who got money, that guy has charisma. He has personality. That most people with money built themselves up. They know how to
Yeah.
communicate with people. They know how to treat people. I don't
Yeah.
see men with money who most of the time are mistreating people. They're very generous and respectful people. From my experience, as well, I don't know. There's people on the panel that I know got money as well too. What is
But
your experience
Ali,
with men with money?
We're talking
respectfully,
about two different
Ali,
people. We're talking about two different people, not the same guy. The CEO who communicates by everyone perceiving everyone as their employee may also transfer that.
Hold on,
into his
and a dragon.
personal
Hold on. Let's not
You know
go
what
to
I'm
the
saying?
seat.
See what I mean? So, like, okay, so I'll explain this. Let me explain it because like I said, a panel can be messy. You get interrupted. You can't get your full thought out. He like. So what happened in this instance is, Boheme Noir and Ilkhan Ali are having the discussion about men with money and how they treat their spouse, right? So the problem is, Ali is saying that a man with money can be generous with their wealth or their money to a woman, and Bo was saying, well, she's dated men with money, obviously, so she's speaking from her experience, saying that a man can be manipulative, he can be this, he can be that, he can financially abuse you, meaning he withholds money and uses it as leverage in order to get what he wants from, or in order to get cooperation from the woman that he's dealing with in the relationship. So what I'm trying to explain, I was trying to explain before I was so interrupted, is that a CEO, which is a person with money, obviously, is a different type of person. They're a different type of human being. They can be accustomed to buying and selling people, not like slaves or whatever, but it's kind of like, I know they have to wheel and deal and live in a different type of universe that an employee operates from. If I work at a call center and the CEO is flying around doing seminars and meeting and greeting and has to get contracts and deals in the millions, me working at a call center, like, my relationship and how I relate to people is going to be it's going to be a completely different lens that I'm looking through than the CEO who has to who's always thinking about prices and numbers and things like that in order to obtain cooperation from whoever who's doing business with or whoever he's dealing with. And that bleeds over into that person's personal life in relationships. And that's what I'm trying to explain before getting cut off, right? The CEO is different from the employee. The CEO is looking and is living their lives through a completely different lens. So when we're talking about financial abuse and that could be the CEO versus someone who just normally has money or six figures or whatever, who genuinely has an interest in a person. Then money doesn't matter. Then, here's the key to the safe. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to come across. So let me play this a little bit more. I think there's like 5 minutes left, but let me play this a little bit more, and then you'll at least understand what I'm trying to get at.
Let's not go to the minority.
No. We're talking about men with money. We're talking. Yeah. That's the subject. Are
we talking about billionaires?
But we're talking. No. We're talking about two different men. The man who loves Bo and who may have always been in love with Bo since middle school or Rugrats or whatever, he's going to most likely share his wealth with her and cater to her because of how that candle has been burning forever, versus someone he just met on some Tinder profile or
that's
he
not
just met at a convention.
That's not
you know
what
I mean?
Question.
So right here, I'm trying to make that comparison. I'm trying to make that correlation that I'm like, you guys are talking about two different men. The man who loves Bo like since, you know, 5th grade, or the man who genuinely loves Bo, no, he just happens to be a millionaire or he happens to have money, but since he genuinely loves her or any woman or whatever, he doesn't need to, he's not using money as a leverage in order to get cooperation from her. He's always loved her. He loves her for all the right reasons and just so happens to have money. And and he's willing to cater to her only because of how he feels, and how he feels is genuine. It's not like he looks at her as an object to be bought and sold, like the CEO I was trying to explain. You see what I'm saying? So when I said the CEO and how he wheels and deals, I was cut off. So I tried it again. I said, you're talking about two different men. The man who loves Bo since the sandbox or since 5th grade is going to treat her differently than the guy who met her on Tinder or whatever. The guy who met her on Tinder, that CEO I was talking about, doesn't know how to even, he treats people all the same, meaning, what's your price? Like, what do I have to buy you? What's this going to cost me? Like that kind of mindset. There is no like genuine connection or feeling. And I can't get that idea out because he keeps cutting me off. And it's no shade or whatever. It's just it's just problematic. Like when you're on, when I'm on the panel, and you have to explain when you're sitting back, when you're me, I guess, and you're sitting back and you're listening to two people discuss a topic about, the topic is men with money. So men with money, you can use money as leverage to manipulate and this and that, if that's what you're used to, or if that's how your thinking is, versus another man with money, which is a completely different person who just happens to meet a girl or is in love with a girl or really likes this girl, and he just happens to have money, you know. When I say happens to have money, he can be a CEO as well. But the way he feels about this one chick, he's willing to share everything he has with this girl 50-50 or whatever the case may be, right? He's not the one using money as leverage versus the other guy who only looks through the lens of how much is this going to cost me, things like that. I'm trying to come across like I'm trying to get that message across, but with the interruption, it sounds all, my message sounds all jumbled because he jumps to some kind of conclusion and interrupts and wait. I'm like, nah, bro, you got to let me like finish and then you'll understand what I'm saying. And everybody on the panel is kind of following what I'm saying, but it's just like, bro. So I couldn't get that out. So this is why so first of all, this is why I'm even doing the kind of rehash of you know, me being on the panel and me saying stuff. And second, like I can at least do this rewatch and be like, okay, I'm trying to say something right there and it's not coming out because I keep getting interrupted. And people sometimes get triggered because they don't understand what you're saying, because they believe what you're saying it takes too long to understand, or whatever the case may be. They don't understand it, so they feel the need to like stop you and cut you off. And I'm like, bro, nah. You need to take a Ritalin or something. Like I need to be able to like convey my idea so that everybody will understand that you guys are talking past each other and you're talking about two different people. That's what I'm trying to convey.